Before we get started, I want to drop in a little teaser here. What I'm about to make, at the end of the video, we're going to give these away. This is a collaboration with James Wright over at Wood by Wright, and I'm going to give 2 of these clamps away, and so is he. So stay tuned to the end for details. James Wright over at Wood by Wright has some really cool wooden bar clamps that he'd like duplicated. So we've decided to do a collaboration. I'm doing the metal parts, he's doing the wood parts. And what I'm going to make it out of is a carriage bolt, a coupler nut, a piece of key stock, rectangle tubing, and angle iron. So let's get started. The first thing I need to do is unbox my new Evolution cutoff saw. So the first thing I want to do is make the clamping end. And you notice the ones from the picture had this nice 45-degree angle going, so I'll cut a couple of strips off this piece of tubing and see how that works out. And a lesson I just learned is that this thing throws those chips everywhere, so safety glasses are not enough. You've got to have a full face shield. Those look pretty good. Okay, so here I've got my 2 pieces, and I think the small one, I think I'm going to use the small one as the sliding one, because I want the nut bolted on, I want the nut welded onto the big one. Anyway, so that's how that's going to work. So now we need something for the wood to press against, and this angle iron welded onto the top of this sliding piece is what's going to do it. Okay, so here's the initial mock-up. Now the way this is going to work is I'm going to use this carriage bolt as my tightening screw, and this coupling nut is going to be welded onto here, and then I will attach a piece of angle iron up here to this sliding one and somehow tie it to the coupling nut, to the tension screw, and then I'll also put a piece over here, and then the bottom of the board will be notched to hold a key that I'm going to weld onto the base of that. So the next thing to do is prepare to attach the coupling nut. Now I already know it's too low, so I'm going to use another piece of key stock to raise it up. So for this gusset on this piece of angle, I think I'm going to just use this piece of 1-inch flat bar. In case anybody's wondering what this is in my hand, this is the 21st century answer to the soapstone. It's called the Silver Streak. And they didn't pay me to say that, I just think it's really handy. Okay, so here I've got my gussets cut, and that's going to go there. I've got my keyway cut, and that's going to go inside on the tip here, and then the board will get notched. I have no idea what to call this part, but this is the piece that interfaces the screw to the head jaw of the clamp. Now the only other thing that needs to happen before we start welding is we need to drill a hole in the bottom of this so you can screw it to the beam. And then we can weld all the pieces together and send them over to James, and he'll make the beam. Here's the final mock-up before we weld it all together. We've got the tail piece with a piece of key stock on it and the coupler nut Then we've got the sliding piece with the screw end foot and its interface gadget. Then we've got the tail end foot with its angle and its gusset and this keyway. And then we've got the screw that's going to need this this washer plug welded onto it because it's going to slide down in here. The only thing I left out was having to cut the carriage bolt head off to make way for the handle that James is going to make and epoxy on to the end of the rod. So this is ready to go together. Time to fire up the welder.
Now we're ready to weld.
That kind of sucks. I burnt through a little bit right there, but clean that up with a grinder. Nobody will know, except you guys. But there's the tail. Done. Okay, all three pieces are welded now. The only thing left to do is install the screw and plug weld this washer on the end of it. But before I do that, I think I'm going to run a tap through that nut. Okay, so that's nice and smooth. Now that I've chased those threads, that's James is going to like that. Now I just need to plug weld this washer on the end and I can send it off to him. So I sent the clamps off to James and look what he came up with. He did a real fine job. So if you'd like to win a pair of these clamps, all you have to do is two things. 1, be subscribed to my channel. 2, leave a comment below. And if you'd like an additional chance, go over to Wood by Wright and subscribe to his channel, watch his video, and leave a comment on it because he's going to give away a pair of them also. The drawing will be on Christmas Day, and we'll announce it in the morning. It'll be short and sweet. Meanwhile, if you want to check out some of my other stuff, click over here or maybe up there. And we'll see you later.